that is dying.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled by the way I see you guys here at this fourth annual event here on Ayamo KC Farming. And we are so excited to host you all here at this event. Right, because we are here to get information, we are here to share information. And again, we are going to take that information and share it with those who are not here. That is very important. Right, I'm going to welcome you all here at this fourth annual KC Farming event. Started 20, when was it, Dusty? Let's say yeah. Okay, thank you so much. 2020, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. We will see second one here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Tumelo Makaka, not yet here. So we will be moving to Mr. Letabo Jubert, or Hubert, or Otla lang kon. Ke tle go bitsa Letabo Jubert a tla go bua ka o tle go bua ka mentorship, management and commercial farming and start breeding gore ha o batla go rua start breeding o tla simolola kae o tla heletsa kae. Thank you very much, Mr. Sway. Ke ene Letabo a tla go eta gore pele o mpheta.
Dumelang Thobela. I can Letabo Chichila. Jubert is just the second name. It's Limpopo ko Teflop. So that's why you make Shakira Thobela. Ke bona gae ke bona space ratio. So ke tlile mo as a student ke tlile go dira in service training ko mo Lisbonmara. And then from there I went home to graduate, came back and he hired me as his farm manager. That's where I am currently. As a farm manager. So mentorship and its importance, the management their commercial farm and start farming. To be a mentor as someone who's experienced and who has knowledge and he shares the knowledge he or she is inexperienced. So basically like how ngwana ga setsa rutiwa go hwetsa bicycle ona le mogolo o le go tsimula pele a mo tshwarela yona o itlhela to a certain point and then mo le wa mo tlogela o memala ko morago mara mo shebile gore o tsamaya. So to me that's a relationship between a mentor and a mentee. So se ba se botlhokwa thata to every individual in whatever career path that o le mo go yone o tlhoka a mentee, someone who's been there or le wena o tlo itse gore mo tla go heta teng, someone has been here and it's possible. So hona le a mentee, hona le a mentor o important thata gore o ska nna le go tshoga ga wa go pursue whatever that you wish to pursue. It's gore some people did it, you can do it. So important thata gore o le mentor because now number one o na le an improved skill and knowledge because someone who has been there ba go empower ka knowledge gore this is how you go through this. This is how you go through this. Lana o na le confidence mo wena gore how ya go tackle dilo. You know gore this is possible and this is how I should tackle these things. Or save yourself from making costly mistakes. How you go dira dilo hela ka gore how na knowledge. So having a mentor go pavela a way ya gore o tsebe gore where you are going o tlhokagala eng. This is how you can maneuver through dilo tse tshwana le tseo ka gore especially for farming it's very challenging. O ka nwa reka dikgomo o itlhela le gore the quality high sharp for where you are farming at. Mara how na a mentor he already knows gore o galagadi which cow can do better. So now you reka kgomo yana you know gore what I want is this and this is going to work for me. So that's the importance of a mentor. And happy mentor who to happy skill development through knowledge transfers, through developing the new skills and then lay a professional network. A mentor creates professional network for when he paves the way for you how to introduce her to the esteemed farmers. You know, how to also call about how about whatever. At least there's a way you know pay for it. So that it's very important for all of us for a mentor in whatever career choice and happy for the onale a mentor who happy onale a role model or how you know that I want to end up being like on that you know unale motivator how much ever when you even think of giving up you know mara so that you push you must push and you must do whatever that it takes for official logo, official thing. So that's all that I have for Yuga mentorship. Now I'm going to move to management, their commercial farming versus start farming. The management is almost the same thing. The main important thing is record keeping. I'm going to stress a lot more record keeping. Without record keeping, there's no way you can run policy. Record keeping is key. You need to keep record of almost everything on the farm. Or your workers pattern in the leaf. When are your mating seasons? When are your calving seasons? When are your vaccination seasons? When are your lambing seasons? Whatever that happens on the farm, you need to keep note of that. So that when you want to cut, you go back to your records where it's this cow and this cow and this cow does not perform. So you know what it's a thing you don't just go pressing over it down the so record keeping is very important. We keep record of the calves for the lambing season, calving season. We keep records there, the mating seasons for which bull is thing for what period of time. We keep record there, the leave for our workers, for everything, financials, for registering. This year register home take last year register home take we keep all the record here note. But I start breeding, it's more intense how you have to keep breeding weight. Or you have to weigh your calves. When your home you weigh the calf, you ear notch, there are a lot of procedures they already want to. So you must keep record of that as well. And then number two, we make sure your employees understand your system. Employees should know the system. They should be able to differentiate between the Homuta start and then the Homuta commercial because they're not treated the same and they're not worked the same. The Homuta commercial will differ attention, but not as much as the Homuta start attention. And the Lozo commercial, you do them only studying more. So they should differentiate for them. This is start and this is how you do the start. This is commercial side and this is how you do the commercial side. So, but for both studying commercial, renally controlled mating season. We do not just leave the points move throughout the year. We have restricted breeding. For summer, we have a breeding season at 3 months, starting in December, we March, and then for winter, we have a breeding season here stimulate June and to August. Re try gore dikgomo tse di tsalang selemo e nne tse dintsi thata go na le tse di tsalang ka mariga. Re go botsa chances tsa mortality le gore bo mmatona ba ska utlwalela thata ga dikgomo di tsala thata ka mariga. So we increase more le dikgomo tse di tsalang ka selemo gore re tsenya dipogo ka December the 1st ya go dintsha ka March, mid-March or end of March. And then tse di sa tshwarang after mating season whether kgomo e tshwere gore ga ya tshwara ga re buile gore re tsenya dipogo ka di-1 tsa December re dintsha ka di-15 tsa March. At 15 March, you want to achieve uniformity. Or how you bereka dilo, how you win, how you vaccinate, how you do whatever so over get the group, say you bereka naman pedi, mo bereka naman tharo, mo bereka naman tse. So you want to achieve uniformity. Now you rekisa the market, wa itse go rekisa uniformity. So after a mating season, re na le the pregnancy diagnosis. Kgomo ga e tshwere e sharp and then ga e sa tshwara, re di busetsa go to the next season. So we give a cow chance 2. If a cow keeps 2 seasons, then Rainta, higher very Ijayala Mojang Barona Mahana and Kill Fire. So Rainta. We do the pregnancy diagnosis just to be sure or other homes to sell or homes to keep a record and then thereafter Hotla Calvin season. Calvin season is now where the Homuditala. Different the Homuta commercial, Itala Kona campaign. And then ready 50 and then the tag just to differentiate them. And the tag with a green tag color or this one is commercial, that's kind of mix up it's a start. And then that's start haditala and the company because every day you must check up on them for it's and then if there's a cow you bring forth the cow, you weigh the cow and the calf. After weighing them, the recorder, and then you ear notch. The numbers not deal like so the society has numbers you use to ear notch. So Renardi is a number 3. Say if Namani Kinamani on the year, you notch number 1 motive. You don't have to take it. The year notch we tattoo with the number Namani and then the brand mark on the left hand side, and then we ear notch, and then we weigh the mother as well. So okay, that's how we do Gadi Namanta start. Then to winning, when you win Namanta start, you weigh the mother as well, you weigh the cow. Oh, how do you was a whole? Winning, yes. Oh, when we win. When we win at 7 months. So we don't win ka weight we have the cows have to be 220 or 2 whatever weight that we have to win. We win ka di. At 7 months, we win our cows, allowing their mother those that are pregnant again to gain some strength and to prepare themselves for the next cow. So we win at 7 months. As start breeding, when we win, you weigh the mother, you weigh the cow. And a good cow winning, it should be a calf from a good cow at winning, it should be at least half of the mother's weight. So if a cow weighs 500, for example, a good cow will give you a winner that's weighing 250, 240. So you know that you have a good cow. So at least that's where you see what record keeping important. Those things you keep through while checking your record. And then from there, for the commercial side, when we win the heifers, we keep them as replacement heifers, but all the bulls that we win, we sell. From the commercial side, we keep nothing. The bulls, all the bulls we sell, but on the start side, the bulls we keep them for a test. Every month from there off, like we weigh them every month, every month. The most important weight is for the winning weight, 12 months weight, and 18 months weight. That's where they derive the index. It's the breeding standards index. They go for the pass mark. They're just like pass mark. The pass mark just starts up on Smart, it's 90. So the win index should be 90 and above. The 12 month index should be 90 and above, as well as the 18 months index should be 90 and above. So that qualifies for the start. Because I know it's 89 going down, and automatically it's out. So the winning index is important. So that's the most important weight we're talking most at breeding. And then after winning 18 months, there comes the selectors or the inspectors that go Botswana SA. They come to select now the start stock. They select them based on the rejection codes that Botswana provided by Botswana. On our whichever the car, your hooves, your head, your top line, they take a lot of things, your tail. If Homiara in a lay baboon tail, that's automatically out. If it has hooves that open too much, it's automatically out. That's a lot of things they check. So start. We keep them up until 18 months, and then they are selected. And then those are for those who fall off. We now take them to the slaughter. We not sell them as the breeding bulls because they are not do not qualify as the breeding bulls. So he can't on the start. And then from there, they are good sales, study for production sales. That's what we prepare. From 18 months, usually we sell our bulls for 2 months, 2 years, up to 3 years or whatever age. From 2 years upward, that's when we sell them. And prior to auction, we do the fertility tests, we do the sheath wash for your sicknesses and all those things. Even they go to that commercial for the breeding season. We make sure our bulls are tested for fertility, we test them for the sicknesses, and then we make sure we inject them. Prior to breeding, a month prior, we inject them Cairo just to boost their libido. And then they come multi-mean, around yana selenium more, and it has the copper and all of those things. So that's how we prepare the home zarona, start versus the commercial.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
On your selection process, how brutal is it with the Botswana? Because I know. Oh, what do I need to keep a mic? Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, sorry. I need to stand there. Oh, okay. Ask you a question. All right, brother. Since you're from the Botswana, I wanted to ask the selection process. How brutal is it? Because I know certain societies keep also color standards. For example, if let's say I have a Botswana bull and it happens to be white underneath, would that be accepted or will they say no to this?
The Botswana standards are very brutal. They accept the white color only if it's under the stomach. But the minute it goes out, then it's totally out. The white color is acceptable matter only if it's below. It doesn't come out to the stomach or wherever. Even if there's a white dot on the head, it's automatically out. Even if it's a white dot, just a bit of another color, then it's automatically out. So they are strict like that.
Any more questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Sarapelwane. From now, I'm gonna call him now. I know long pieces quite too much. From now, now I'm gonna call Miss Tlhalefo Ditebe. She's gonna be sharing with us good farming and commitments and whatever. Miss Tlhalefo Ditebe, the agro queen of agro farming. Welcome. Please. Salanka Nzatane, record keeping is very vital, as Mr. Sarapelano was saying. Please keep your records. Mr. Sarapelano Shola area, but here is health. Paper is money. You write something. No.
This one is.
If you write something down, then you will remember or you will remind yourself later. So that's why I was saying I'm very worried that you're not writing anything down. Thank you, Miss Sally, Agro Queen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tlhalefo Ditebe, also known as the Agro Queen. We are based here in Goromane, around a farm with my family, where we mostly farm with both small cattle and also small stock, which is goats. And we have recently ventured into dairy farming. I think it's about 6 months now. We have ventured into dairy farming, and the reason for us to venture into dairy farming was mainly because of the challenges that we were facing at the farm, where we had a lot of kids that were dying, which was now killing us profit-wise as well. And we said, you know what, let's rather venture into this so that we can be able to again sustain people. Just to go to my presentation. So just an overview on dairy goat farming. It's a very niche market. It's very rare for or even at your stores and you find a goat meat. Very, very rare. And on top of that, again, that is one of the things that are very healthy, including the machiate. These are goat milk, milk. Including the machiate. I worked for Woolworths before, and you would only find goat milk Woolworths. On top of that, with a special order, because I was based in Katu, with a special order, and when they come, get 6, 3 already already sold to that particular customer that ordered. We only have 3 left on the shelf. After a few days or after a few hours, it's gone. So the importance and how healthy this is, I think we shouldn't overlook it. My mouth. And one of the other good things about farming with because we are farming with the chocolate breed. What is the name? But we're still gonna get there. But for now, I'm farming with chocolate breed. And what I love about them is that they require less land use, meaning for you can easily use demo campaign as well. How does demo campaign eat whatever that is there? I say each and every now and then you need for the food, which is again what it's saving on your pocket as well. And then on top of that as well, low maintenance as well in terms of maintenance with the vaccine. It has really worked wonders for us, and I can also say that for now with the kids that we got for this year, we only lost about 5. 5 due to negligence. You know the first time moms how they are. First time moms would next thing you come in the morning, the baby died. But it was never about them not getting enough milk. It was always about the negligence part. And one of the other things as well about these breed, I get that they eat whatever that is there. Like for example, if dija longana, they are able mashate or tlakhona as well. The herbs is a bit of a taste. It's bitter, but it's those herbs and natural, organic as well, where they are also healthy as well. For one can also consume it, and trust me. The other day I was speaking with my partner yesterday, the dry manager thing, and we said majority of the time you find these guys, but in Pakistan, they hardly get sick, and why? Because of the smoke. The coming one as well. No? They also drink that milk as well. Where this milk now has all these organic the herbs as well. And then the other thing again about the dairy good farming is that they have lower greenhouse emissions than the home, your livestock. So again, their droplets, you can also, because the thing unlike the home where they put the very big their droplets as well, you can also use them if you are farming with what's this crop. We have started a smaller garden, and what we do, we just take it and we sell it as a manure as well. And the benefits of goat farming, they are this milk is healthier than the cow milk. I don't know if you guys know that. It's healthier than the cow milk, and it has lower lactose than the cow milk. When we did our research, we saw that it's actually about 4.1 to 4.2 per 100 gram. than the cow milk, which is now above 4.7, 300 ml. The other thing about it is that besides, it's very, it's no, that is actually. It's very healthy. Yes, healthy and nutrients than most milk and with benefits, meaning for any also stronger immune system as well. The other thing is that it's also rich in calcium. Yes, it's also rich in calcium. It also reduces inflammation as well. Did you know that? Hey. The products under milk farming, you'd find that people would normally make cheese. They would make yogurt. We are in the process of getting our cheese, but not still working on milk. Some make butter, some make ice cream. Imagine all those. And some make cosmetic products with it. So also it's very good for skincare, the skincare products. Your thing, your becomes very smooth. In conclusion, goat milk is a market I don't know if a lot of people are aware of it, but I always felt that we are misinformed about it. Hence, the other reason again why I went into farming with goat milk. We are misinformed. There's so much about it when we only focus on milk or on the cow milk or just livestock as it own the homo and the booty fairy. And the market opportunities, I think they are very broad, it's growing in demand as well, where even kids as well, they can be able to consume it because it is very, it's easy to digest. Infants. There's also a powder milk, yeah, goat milk. It's really good. I haven't tried it on my kids, but I'm not definitely gonna try it. Guys, thank you. Yes, guys, guys, thank you so much. Gary, make it for the TV. Also known as the Agrofin. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, it's less of a question and more of a statement. Ne? I always tell people, hore, especially people who own dogs, who have dogs, hore, don't give your dogs cow milk. So the best thing, the best milk you can give to your dogs is actually goat milk. So yeah, just wanted to state that.
Very healthy.
Donkey milk is also more of a. So how does it differ from the goat milk? And giving a good
It's also healthy. I made also an example of garlic and almond as well. So all of them, they're very healthy. They're very good for you. Is there any such a also, now I'm saying that you must try them. Because now he's asking me which one out of all three is the best. I said try them. You're not gonna go wrong.
Yeah, and I've always thought about those products. I don't know those products with the goat milk because I know somebody's child. Like when I go to town, milk from my home, and I tried. I did. So a sad part is that you only get it from Woolworths, but certain Woolworths, not all of them. Even something you walk around the Woolworths, you need to check which Woolworths
It is because it does have your lactose, however, it's low.
So I can
That'll do it.
Any more questions?
One other thing, guys, we are selling good milk. So if you're interested,
Okay. Very special order, see?
but she as much as possible.
But anyway, they say they will give me this one. Thank you for being presenting. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Sorry? Or the contact.
Okay, I'm sorry. We are reachable on the following contact details: 081
081. Kalau bata marato na le moto. Wena monna.
286 3737.
081 286.
You can also
Go mo gaisa no bua ka maikele.
our orders. You can also go into our website as well, www.agropreneur.co.za, or you can also go in and send us an email on info@agropreneur.co.za. Yeah, email it into more. If you can just get more, to take us through to our website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agro Queen. Oh, nalipota papa. Unless no. Rebecca got a special order, but anyway. Ah, alright, alright. Oh.
So we deal with special orders because we want to give it to you as fresh as possible. Okay, thank you.
How about a fresh? Go to Woolworths. What? Yeah, we have this one, 25 rand. Huh? Hakuna next at the moment. This was just a presentation. But if you want some more and more and more information about that, you can contact the papa. Thank you very much, the Agro Queen. This lady, what of it miracle about the farming. So you can see how farming can benefit you if you are serious. Mara, what you want to achieve, you can actually make it. It's hard. Let's welcome Mr. Wesley Mongwaketi from Botswana. How can you sustain your farming and whatever you will do the rest, Mr. Wesley. But anyway, old lady, you are born now.
Lady Gitaken.
Man.
You are Wesley Mwangezi from Botswana. I'm from Botswana. No, I'm from Botswana. I operate on 2 farms, one in Dimandre and one in Baje. I recently leased another one in Liquidity. Liquidity just next to the Sikwane board. I don't know if you know that. Close to Madikwe. My background is very simple. Wesley, like I said, I'm one of the first people in Botswana to host an agri-tech show, a successful agri-tech show, as you see, Future of Farming. What I farm, I specialize in cattle as well as sweet potatoes, and there's a reason why I plant sweet potatoes as well as the type of animals that we keep at the farm. Just to give an overview of what I'm a computer engineer by profession, hence why future farming, but I'll expand more as I go down my presentation. I don't want to make my presentation as long as possible because it becomes a taxation to the listeners, right? So why I chose this path is simply because I've always had a thing for agriculture. I come from a family that is invested in agriculture. We started our farm, AgroStarts, in 2022, December. It was me and my dad, but unfortunately, January 2023 passed away. So I've been running a one-man show from 2023 until now. So yeah, I'm supposed to talk about the power of integration in your agricultural practices. However, it will be fluff for me to talk about information that I get elsewhere online and so forth. But it will make much more sense if I get to talk about what we do at the farm, so that you get what I'm trying to talk about. But first things first, let us talk about challenges in farming. I want to address climate change as one, because it is something we experience a lot. We experience a lot of drought. For the past 3 years, rains went so good to us. And if you are into farming, be it cattle as well as growing crops, it is a problem. So we sat down and analyzed what is the best way to go about this whole thing. Climate change, we can change it, but if we plan and see what are the right aspects to put in place for us or a profitable business. Climate change, like I said, I want to touch on expenses, the type of breed that we do, as well as the type of plants. Plants, I mean, we grow sweet potatoes, like I already said, right? But expenses are, when it comes to climate change, we need to be smart how we invest our money. You don't need to buy food, buy feed from them, but also make sure your operations are able to buy that feed, not from your own pocket. Does that make sense? Yes. So if you run a business, make sure at the end of the month or in a quarter or 6 months or whatever, it is able to give you back the money that you reinvest into the business, right? And the type of breed that we do, we don't keep stats. We are full commercial. However, our bulls, and we cross them Lady Swan. For one reason, Swanas are known to be hardy animals, generally speaking. And if you put a Brahman Modiswane, they get to bring the offspring. They have that hardiness as well as that body type, the weight that you're looking for. And if when we started, we tried to cross the cement one, but because of the issue climate change, drought in the experience, we realized that cement are spending more money than it's giving us back. You see, but if you look at Brahmins, I'm in a communal land. I'm not in a plus. Like I saw in the morning when I was working, I was like, wow, I wish to have this someday, you know. But we are in a communal land, which means for our animals, the hula happy. I get. I know go smart smart or by yana or kadina the female and so forth. For us in a communal land, it's a bit tough to do that, right? Because you can keep or put aside your bulls. I go spring, me how to be me how run go one. Me how run the pure one, the pure one. Did the deal and then when I lost somebody be a Brahmana or a Kalapala, you see, hey, what I get into not one give me how I get. Hey, so what we do is we just allow, because the main objective here is to produce meat. We are farming to produce meat. That is our market. And with the let me not talk about this now. I'll get back to it, right? Because I got to jinx up the presentation. But yeah, we keep Brahmins and we cross the Ditswana simply because of the hardiness. So also to boost the body weight. Again. Then sweet potatoes, we keep them because they are drought that they can be regarded as climate smart crops. You see? So if you are in a place where you experience a drought, the sweet potatoes don't need a lot of water. Yes, they don't need a lot of water. House needs it at all. Like if you are surviving one in the morning, your sweet potatoes can thrive and can do exceptionally well. I'll explain more. So then the other challenge that I want to talk about is rising input costs, right? How many of us actually do we have a vaccination plan that is prescribed by a vet? Raise up your hand. Some of us don't. Again, vaccination plan again, that's what most farmers do in Botswana, myself included, but I stopped after doing this, right? The reason why it becomes a cost is because you find that you are vaccinating your animals for something at all. You see, so it is always smart to get a prescribed vaccination plan from a vet, so that when you vaccinate your animals, you are vaccinated with the relevant meds. Does that make sense? Then feed expenses as well. We need to be like I already said, be smart how you invest in your feed. You can plan for one if you have the land, right? Then market access, value chain, know where you are in the value chain. We don't plant our sweet potatoes and then after harvest, we go sit by the roadside to sell them. We don't do that. We understand where we fall in the value chain. We are producers, we're not sellers, right? And I'll explain why we did that and how we got about it. How did we get market access and so forth in Botswana, right? Market access also, I don't want to touch much on branding because Kamo is here to touch on branding. How you market your business in order to be able to penetrate the market, right? Then lack of infrastructure, I'll literally just say use what you have, because that's what we do. We use what we have, the little resources that we have, right? Then the land and resource pressure, bush encroachment, land management, right? We need to be as farmers, if you are into livestock, make sure your land is well maintained, right? For now, we come from Baje is in the central district of Botswana, so that is where you find serious bush. How it's an monarchy, Botswana right? So that is the land that I'm from. Okay. Now I want to talk about sweet potatoes, I want to dig deeper into sweet potatoes. Why I choose sweet potatoes and not maize and not other things, right? For one, like I said, Botswana last year they opened import their sweet potato from Zambia, right? And that on its own is a wake up call to us for this thing is in demand, right? We can't meet the market demands more on. Hence why they opened the borders to import sweet potato. So for one, the reason why I chose sweet potatoes was for market access and demand, right? And also the main important one is climate smart crops. They require very less water. Did you know, Lale, maybe you wouldn't know, let me just say, my operations, 70% of the time, when we plant sweet potatoes, they are 100% rain-fed. But timing is important because what we do is from November, we plant sweet potatoes, then the let's say December, January, February, down to March, they water our sweet potatoes again. And then towards May, they take 3 to 4 months, but sometimes I go beyond to 5, simply because I want them to develop food, right? As well as for the dryer. You don't want your sweet potatoes to be too watery. Again, when you harvest them, you know where you get those sweet potatoes that are like mashed potatoes. Again, yeah, you don't want that. So you want to give them time to dry before you harvest. Yeah? So because they require less water, and someone might ask, but if you rely fully on rainfall, how then are you able to manage what we call waterlogging in your crops, right? So what we do is sweet potatoes, you plant them on the region. We put before we plant them, we ready regi, they are 50 centimeters off ground, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, just around here again. Then we plant the sweet potatoes. So hapulaina or when you're watering, they get to dry. The water doesn't stay on. Again, the water just goes straight to the ground. Again, so that ridge acts as a filter. I don't want to say it acts, but filter is the right word. Again, do you agree? Yeah, it filters much water so that your sweet potatoes get the actual water level that they need. Okay, and we use after harvest. Usually, what we do is we use them as the broken ones because how you harvest sweet potato harvest like full year. Again, it's only requirement. We supply them. I supply Spa or Serowe. That is one of the biggest towns that I'm next to. Aje Serowe, it's just about 13 kilometers. So I supply Spa. The reason they are strict like the selection of it's strict. It's the same, right? So what you do is before I plant, because I already have that market, but before I started, this is what I did. I planted 5 rows, harvested it, then they test it to see if this quality is it the quality that they want. Then from there, if you're approved, now you can do on a larger scale. You see, that is how you're able to penetrate that market. But like I said, I don't want a situation where I plant, and after harvest, I set by the side to sell my product, my produce, right? I want to be a producer, so I plant. After harvest, everything gets taken to the shop. I'm done. Now I'm thinking of the next cycle again. So, like I said, we can use them as animal feed. Those stems, you can feed them to your goats. They give 12 to 18% protein. So when you harvest, let's say how harvest sweet potato is very fragile, especially at harvest. Now guys are waiting right? So if you have pigs, you can feed them to pigs, right? But you need to be smart how you supplement because now I use it as to supplement to give my animals protein, yeah, 12 to 18%, right? So the management, I already talked about the management for what we do is we just put it to 50 centimeters up so that there's no water logging again. And then also when you plant it, make sure you don't plant disease infested stems because sweet potato, what you do is the leaves that you see outside, you just get it cut it into pieces and you plant it. Later, they grow inside. Stem cell one so milling, so heal about 4 or 5 bulbs sweet potato, right? So also spacing is very important. What we do is we space by 30 centimeters for a develop a food. I don't know one stem cell one so the bulb is 4, right? So you want those bulbs to develop fully crowded. And then we all know about rotational planting. You need to rotate your land with maize. It's good to rotate it with maize. However, I don't do that. What I do is I plant, then we use what we call like relema sweet potato after harvest. Right? Because I operate on 3 farms, I'm able to rotate amongst the 3 farms. The lema sweet potato on this one, next time came out with this one, next month came out with this one. So also with cattle, I don't want to touch much on cattle because my presentation is not about cattle. About we're doing cattle. But my main objective was to talk about the integration, how you want to use all your resources into the farm and nothing goes to waste, right? I already talked about how we use our sweet potatoes, how we harvest them, and we can use that as feed. The raw manure, supplement the sweet potatoes are. But now, I want to talk about the financial balance of how we actually balance this whole thing out, right? In a year. Like I said, sweet potatoes take 3 to 4 months for them to be mature, right? Then you harvest. And after 3 to 4 months, cattle, we know it's a long game ball. Again, it's a long ball. So you have to have numbers in order for you to make the actual money that you need. I'm not talking about stats, but if you're into commercial, you know you need numbers. Again, the EU market. We have access to the EU market such that it's 51, again. Yeah, 51 per kg. So what I know when you slaughter 51 per kg is a lot of money. Again, what the rents is probably 60 something per kg, right? So that market is what we are all pushing for. We meet the requirements the EU market, and in a year, if you have 3 to 4 months, sweet potato beginning of the year, towards the end of the year, you have that opportunity to sell your animals or the EU market or the BMC, again, Personal Meat Corporation. So that is how we balance the whole equation in a year. But we recently started involving goods as well. I don't want to talk about goods as well because I'm not really big on trade. I'm still starting. So we also want to close off the gap between January from December down to May, and from the rainy seasons, from October down to December, right? Because those are the times that we usually sell our animals. So the goats, we want to use them in a year between June, July, August, September, October, right? So I don't want to touch much about it because, like I said, I just started rearing goats, right? I want to venture to start breeding as well, the goats specifically, because of the market access in the goats one. Okay. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is what we actually do at Future Farming. It is a agri-tech show or event. We are trying to explore innovations into agriculture. We don't want to have our practices daily too slow or too boring. What do I mean by that? We want to involve technology as part of life. Okay, like I said, I come from a computer engineering background. So therefore, right now as we speak, I'm in talks with a US company called FieldView. FieldView, what they do is their software is able to tell you if you are planting. It's able to tell you by this time it is the perfect time to plant your seed, maize, looking at the weather and so forth. But before you do that, you have to actually do a soil test. Again, so FieldView, it's making change in the US agriculture industry because they're able to plant 1,000 hectares accurately in 1,000 hectares based on that software. Right. We also have one of my sponsors, Mutisa. What they do is it's an animal tracking company. They specialize in tracking animals. They have tags they put at the crow entrance, such that if especially for communal, animal plasing, you know your animals are safe, they're inside, right? But for us in a communal land, what we do is they put the tracker or the QR reader at the entrance, your crow, excuse me. And then your animals totally when your animals get inside the crow, it actually alerts you on your phone so as to say cow number so and so just entered the crow, cow number so and so is leaving the crow, cow number so and so the temperature is dropped, and so forth. So it gives you an accurate what can I say, information about your animal. So yeah, that is what we intend to do. It was the first edition that we hosted this year, and I would love to see South Africans, all of you guys here, there next year to support the event, because our intention is to push technology into agriculture in order to meet the gap that is already there. Okay, so it would be wrong for me to also not talk about the other company that I'm affiliated to, Common and Lifestyle Camp. But my boss is here, or just to give a brief overview of what we do with the Common and Lifestyle Camp, because Ronavi is there. Okay, let me not jinx it up. Okay, all right. So what we do is we want to improve beef production. We focus deeply into beef. It's an event as well that strictly talks about how you can increase your animals from, if you have 20, how can you double that in a year? How do you naturally synchronize your animals for like they said by the you want to have a situation whereby all your animals such that when you have to do vaccinations and so forth, you do it all at once, right? We also focus on financial acumen. What we are saying is record keeping. How are you able to use the money that you generate from the farm and double it into a profitable business? It's okay. Yeah. I guess that's it. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mwaketi, all the way from Botswana. I don't take it in and get Mazame. Kosi, you are welcome.
Don't know where to start. Yeah. On my way here, I went into Freiburg and just to get a few supplies. And when I was in the shopping complex, I came across this other kid, Indian kid, and he came up to me and he was like, "Sorry, sir, can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead and ask." And he was like, "If you really, really wanted to, could you actually reach up to the ceiling?" So I just looked at him and I was like, I actually ignored him until he went away. But yeah, driving here, I expected that I would get a lot of height related questions on some, how's the weather up there? So yeah, thought I should include it in my intro. I am 1.97 meters. I eat the same food as you do, just a little bit more meat. And yeah, the weather's the same for me as it is for you. So just thought I should iron that out. And yeah, I don't like basketball. I'm on the rugby side. And I can touch the ceiling, depends on how high it is. So yeah, yeah guys, I'd like to start off by extending my gratitude to Gito for inviting me here. And I would also like to extend my gratitude to Casey Farming for hosting. I think I speak for everyone here when I say this is a very beautiful event. It's a very, very, very beautiful event. Now, in its beauty, it got me feeling all warm and fuzzy, seeing black people come together in agriculture. And I don't like feeling warm and fuzzy because I'm a man, I'm not supposed to feel that way. So I sort of detach and I think about the reality of things. And the reality of things is, you guys are the representation or the agricultural representation of the northwestern parts of the southern tip of South Africa. Now, you guys need to actually acknowledge that you guys have a voice. You need to acknowledge that. Now, the same way I would say the southwestern parts of South Africa have a voice, I already know what that voice is. They're already saying that they are the primary producers, or they are the biggest producers, leading producers of wine grapes. Now, I know that when we go to, say for instance, the southeast, they could say, their voice is actually saying they are the biggest cattle producers when it comes to numbers. If we go further up, the northeastern side of things, Limpopo regions, they actually saying that they have the most variety when it comes to vegetable fruit farming. But I don't know what the voice is saying when we reach this northwestern side of the southern tip of South Africa. I don't know what the voice is saying. What I do know is that it does speak volumes, because look at this event. So we need to figure out what that voice is actually saying. Are we saying that we're the most resilient farmers in South Africa because we actually have to farm under really, really harsh conditions? Is that what we're saying? Are we saying that we are the most robust because when rain comes down, it's a blessing for us, but for other regions, it's actually just a norm. It's something that's normal. So I feel like we need to get to a point where we know what our voice actually is, and after that, we can adjust the volume. So yeah, my name is Kosi Ramogala. I am an animal health specialist for Octavocine. I am a contractor at Beefmaster Group and at Bloberg Feedlot. I am a partner for Paravet Life, and I am the founder of Tuo. Now, what brings me here today is the fact that a lot of people assume that because I studied in agriculture, I know everything about agriculture, and that couldn't be furthest from the truth. I used to get calls on some, hey, my cattle are sick, or my goats are not gaining weight. There was just a lot of questions in the AMs and all that. So I saw that a lot of people have a problem, and that problem is that they don't have access to information, they don't have access to education, they don't have access to guidance, mentorship. So I took it upon myself to start learning, start studying, detaching from just specializing and actually getting to a point where I try to learn as much as people think I know. I just started going into crop farming, going into genetics, going into selection, breeding, all that. And that's how I ended up starting this page Tuo on TikTok. So I started this page this year in May, and the following or the results of it is I got a lot of following, and it was happening exponentially. And that's what told me that there is a problem. I've actually figured out that for sure there is a problem, and it's that people need to be educated, people need to be guided, mentored, and people need access to information. Now, in my journey into studying, trying to get to a point where I know enough to answer all these people that are always asking me these questions, I went through a lot. But today I stand in front of you saying that I am proud to say I know less than I actually did when I started the journey. That's confusing, right? Yeah, it should be confusing because agriculture is always changing. What I taught you last week could not apply this week. It might not apply in 2 years' time. So agriculture is always changing. But the one thing that I saw that stays the same, it doesn't change, is the fact that people need to eat. And where does the food that they eat come from? Can anyone guess? Comes from farmers like you. So I would like to specifically talk about the beef industry because Geratanama, and in the beef industry, 70%, actually 75% to 90% of the beef that we eat in South Africa actually comes from a feedlot. Now, where do feedlots get their animals? They get them from auction. And who takes their animals to auction? It's farmers like you. You take your animals to auction. But I would like a little bit of engagement here when I ask, who here is happy with the price that you receive when you sell your animals at auction? By raise of hands. Are you happy? Okay, so yeah, a lot of people are not happy, and I was actually betting on you guys saying you're not happy. I'm actually relieved, because otherwise I wouldn't have known how to go ahead with the presentation. So yeah, a lot of people are not happy with the amount of money they receive from selling their animals at auction. Now we need to figure out why. There's a reason why there are farmers, white farmers specifically, okay. Yeah, so there's a reason why certain farmers are happy after leaving auction and others are not. So, like I said, feedlots are the primary buyers at auction. That guy that you see there raising their hands until they actually buy your animals, those are usually feedlot agents. Now, there are plenty of reasons why you might not be happy with the money that you receive. And for the most part, it might not be your fault because education is not something that's happening. I feel personally that government is not doing enough to get information to people. So there are quite a few reasons why you might not be getting this money that you're looking for. Now, I would like to state this list, and if you'd like to start writing right now, then you're welcome to take out your page and start writing. Now, the first aspect is the fact that we need to talk about animal characteristics. Now, the animals that you bring to auction, we need to check up, we need to check the breed. Now, not all breeds are welcome at the feedlot. Feedlots actually do discriminate against certain breeds. So, for instance, if you bought me a Boer run at the feedlot, I will not be happy with that for the reason that it matures very early. What happens with animals that mature very early? They get fat deposits. Now, they don't have that great potential to produce meat, right? So, I would much rather pay a little bit more for something that's like a Boer run mix, a Brahman mix, a Sembra, something like a Beefmaster, a Bonsmara. So it depends on the breed. So don't bring me a Hereford, because Herefords, I think, I saw, is it Entrovert there? I think they would agree with me when I say Herefords actually get sick way more than all these animals, especially in these parts of South Africa. Herefords get really, really sick. Now, the next aspect is the age of the animal. Feedlots will discriminate, because when we're talking about age, we're talking about whether it's A class, B class, C class. That's grades. You usually know it as A grade, AB grade, and all that. So what it really means is A grades are animals that don't have any permanent teeth, and animals that have 2 permanent teeth are AB grades. And then 4 teeth, it's B grades, and then 6 teeth going up, it's C grades. Now, the animal, whenever it's younger, it has that potential to be grown out. It's not like that older animal which has those fat deposits and everything. So you'll get a better price when it comes to the younger animals than the older animals. And then the next aspect is the body condition score. Obviously, flashy animals that are a little bit more meaty, will fetch a better price than animals that look skinny and sick, right? So yeah, and then not to discriminate, but another aspect is the fact that we need to check the age, not the age, the gender. So male animals usually score a better price than female animals. And the main reason is because females, they get to maturity a little bit quicker. And when they get to maturity a little bit quicker, that's when fat deposits come in a little bit quicker. So feedlots don't prefer animals that are fat. If you bring your animal and it's fat to the feedlot, they'll probably reject it because they want to grow it out themselves. They don't want to put meat where fat is. They want to put meat everywhere and then a layer of fat afterwards. So yeah, gender plays a role. Now, another aspect is the market demand. So by market demand, I mean the fact that feedlots will likely pay a little bit more money for your animals if you sell the animal just before the festive season. Now, in the festive season, remember, that's when meat is going, the prices go up. So just before December, that's when feedlots will pay a little bit more money. And what else? Okay, butcheries, if they demand certain cuts, they will pay a little bit better for those cuts. And also export markets, your China, your Saudi Arabia, whenever they want more meat, then the price per kg here in South Africa goes up. And that is something good for you as a farmer. So yeah, what else? There's the season and the timing. Now, when it comes to the season and timing, it's basically what I was talking about. Festive season, November, December, the price per kg will go up. And January, February, March, the price per kg is not really, really good. Why is that? It's because people are actually full, and you need to listen to the people. During December, they talk about how January they're gonna be eating cabbage. You need to listen to them. You need to plant that cabbage so you can sell it to them, because best believe the prices will be very low. January, February, March. That's something proven. You can check it on the internet anytime. Now, also when it comes to season and timing, there's the fact that there could be drought. The drought seasons are not the same as the seasons where there's rain. Now, drought seasons, a lot of people take their animals to auction. When there's an oversupply, the money will go down. So the price will actually drop. That's not the time to sell your animals. Now, another aspect is weight class, right? Now, when it comes to weight class, your younger winners will actually fetch a better price than your heavier bulls. What I mean by that is, for an example, you bring me a Bonsmara, né? And then that Bonsmara is, it's a winner, it's 6 months old. It could be weighing around about 200 kgs. Now you bring that animal, I could give you a 35 rands per kg on that animal, whereas when it comes to an older bull, say the same Bonsmara but at 350 kgs, I will give you less for that because, like I said, I need animals that are actually younger and have a potential to be grown out. So let's play around with this. So the animal that's like younger, your 200 kg, I will, for the 35 rands per kg, that will be around about 7,000. That's the amount of money that you'll get for that animal compared to this animal that's 350 kgs at 30 rands per kg, which will come up to around about 10,000, 10,500. So at the end of the day, the rent value for the older animal or the heavier animal will be larger. But then when you look at the fact that the younger animal hasn't taken out from your pocket as much as the older one has, because the older one or the bigger one actually took money from your pocket during vaccinations, dippings, dewormings, and all that. Also supplementation. Now, yeah, the last aspect I would like to speak about is what you call the presentation and behavior of the animal. So once you bring your animal to auction, and your animal looks like it has scars, it's jittery, and it's not clean, that is when someone sees a risk in your animal, because anytime they take it out of the trailer, it might run off. So animals need to be presentable, they need to be calm, they need to be clean, and people will pay, they'll generally pay a little bit more for animals like that. So if you can take all these aspects and you can incorporate them into your farming system, create standard operating procedures. Hello? Yeah, create standard operating procedures. Then you can get yourself from a point where you are a communal farmer to a point where you are a commercial farmer. Mic check. Yeah. So like I was saying, if you can incorporate these and create your own standard operating procedures at your farming operation, then you can get yourself from a point where you're a communal farmer to a commercial farmer, because I guarantee you that you will gain a little bit more money if you incorporate these. Now, I am willing to say today in front of you, and someone I see is recording me right now, I am willing to say that if you can present to me an animal or animals that are good quality, I am willing to pay 39 rands per kg for males and 35 rands per kg for females. Now, you could contact me. I don't know if the WhatsApp group is still gonna be running. Yes, it's gonna run. So you just change the names every year. Okay, so yeah, you can contact me there. But all these aspects you need to actually think about. I can give you 39 rands per kg if it's good quality. If it's not good quality, I'm gonna have to negotiate with you. The nice thing is I will also come to your farm. We will come and collect, we will pay for transport. We will come collect these animals from your farm. The only thing that you would be paying for is veterinary fees. You need to get the veterinarian to check things like your lumpy skin disease. They need to check the FMD, because the FMD situation is not that great. It's only the western part of, if you drew a line from the center of South Africa from the north to the south, it's only the west that is actually not that affected by FMD. But the rest of the east, we don't buy there. So when it comes to feedlots, they used to buy a lot from auction, but the FMD situation, the fact that whenever people feel there might be a suspicion here, FMD, they take their animals, and where do they take them? To auction. And they could be bought by you. So that's something else you need to be careful of. So right now, feedlots are actually buying straight from the farm. So yeah, I will give my information on the group if you are interested in this. But also, I would like for the animals to be uniform. I wouldn't want A grades, say 50, and then there's a lot of there's a mix up. We don't want that. We want them all to be uniform. And also, I would prefer if it's 100 going up, because it's large trucks that we have to actually load. So if you can do that, then I will be able to. And also, you could always, if you don't have enough numbers when it comes to your animals, you could always group up with someone and have your animals be at a uniform loading bay, and I can collect from there. But first things first, I would have to come and inspect them, right? Okay. So the fact that we have spoken about these aspects, ne, it doesn't cover everything. There is still vaccinations. Animals that are vaccinated are not prone to disease, they're not susceptible. There's also dippings, dewormings, preventative medicine, there's prophylaxis, there's all that. And when it comes to that, I will not touch a lot on, but I would like to say also, or to remind you rather, that Tuo is now a reseller and a partner with Paravet Live. Paravet Live is a digital company. It's an American company, very successful there. And this company, it connects rural farmers with agricultural professional help. I was talking to that last presenter. I was talking to him the other day, and I was telling him how we are so similar in what we do. The fact that we get this digital help to the farmers, the fact that he's Leruo, I'm Tuo. So there's a lot of just, it's very, very suspicious. But anyway, when it comes to the Paravet Live, what will happen is you don't even need to download it. You don't need to go to a website. All you need to do is go on WhatsApp. You just SMS hi, and there's an automated response there, and you could either pick scheduling a call, or you could chat with our AI bot. Now, what happens is, if let's say you want to schedule a call, you have a problem, your problem relates to animal nutrition. You'd like to get your animals from a certain body condition score to another body condition score. All you need to do is schedule a call, and then the relevant person will talk to you. We have AHTs, we have veterinarians, we have animal nutritionists, people who specialize in breeding. We have all these people. So it's not yet live, but I will let everyone know about it in the group whenever it gets live. We're still speaking to these tech companies from America. It's like a Vodacom, but it's on a larger scale, on a mega scale. So it's American, and we are still speaking with it so that it can carry through the rest of the world. So this concludes my presentation. I don't know if there's any questions.
Questions? Dipoto question.
Okay, thank you. Me and Dusty, we always group farmers together whenever there is a need. Like you are saying, for you need a minimum of 100 winners. So in our area, our farmers are not farming specific breeds. So if you know we gather those winners to the 100, but you have already met the requirements, but in a different breeds. Will you still come for, or will you come first and inspect them, and after that you will tell us what you collect them?
Okay, I saw somewhere in the group, it was written that Owen Sechano, Gatlolo, I think he's affiliated in some way with KC Farming, I'm not sure. But 2024, if I'm not mistaken, July, they gathered up a group of farmers. They call themselves ambitious farmers, and that's when they started speaking to me. They told me that they wanted to sell their animals, and they started this whole company, and there's about 12 of them. So they gathered their animals. Some of them farm Brahman, some of them farm Bonsmara, but they gathered up their animals, and I was able to go collect their animals, and I was able to go pay them 7 days later. So it happened somewhere here. I think it's called Washington.
It's one of our feedlots there in N14 Kahun.
Yeah.
They used our crawls there.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. It's just, it does have an impact or an influence on the price per kg, the general price per kg. But the nice thing about it is you can always, when there's 10 animals from you and there's 20 from Dusty, and you all of you guys can like make 100 or make a load. What happens is after loading, I'll give you a price per kg, I'll give you an estimate, but after loading, we take it back to the feedlot and we will weigh these animals individually. We will check these animals individually, the teeth and everything, whether it's A grade, B grade, and all that. But when we're happy, you will get individual prices. You will get individual monies. So it's not to say that you will all get the same price per kg. We just look at the quality. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Okay, sorry, I had to get closer so that I can I'd like you to repeat the parts whereby a certain condition of an animal would take away the price value. So what would be the things that you would look at the calves and then you would say that this one probably isn't going to get 39 because of da 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 da. So I'd like you to repeat that part because it's very important. You know, most of our farmers tend to have this ideology that the heavier, then the better the price. But thank you for rectifying that. But I'd like to just emphasize on that part, that when they have a certain group of animals, what would be the things that they should be able to see or look out for that are going to take away the rent value of the calves?
Okay, so I think it relates to two aspects, the age and the size, the weight class. So when it comes to the younger animals, I'm talking your 180 to 250 kg animals. Those animals don't have fat deposits yet. They are not at puberty yet most of the time. But if we're talking about your boran, it probably already is. That's why I say I will pay a little bit less for a boran, even if it's a good breed. But what you need to look out for is, and I think it happens within each and every classing farm or system, but you need animals with a long back, because a long back means you can pack on more meat onto that. And you need animals with a bigger rump. The buttocks area needs to be big. So it's an indicator that you can actually pack a little bit more meat onto that animal. The most important thing is packing meat. We don't want fat, we want meat onto the animals. We want muscle. So the age has an impact or an influence in that, because older animals already reached puberty and they're already having those fat deposits, those hormones, if I can put it that way. The younger ones haven't gotten there yet. But as much as it's about age, it's also about size. Age is directly proportional to size. So the older, the bigger animals, the heavier animals, they also have a lot of like fat deposits, and feedlots prefer to grow the animals out themselves because they know what they want to pack where. And also they know when they want to use the hormones. Feedlots have their own hormones. They use trenbolones, they use petrol hydrochloride, they use a lot of hormones, but they know when they want to use them. They don't want to find an animal that's already morphed or a certain size or shape or condition. So yeah.
Sure. Any more questions?
Okay.
Hola.
Standard.
Mooi.
Ja, kom van Kimberley af, joh. Voor de woord Afrikaans, mos. Ja.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Yeah.
Hoor. Mijn vraag was net om verband met ons boeren. Wat boeren met communal land. Hoe helpt jullie ons? Okay, my question is, as farmers who farming in the communal land. And now, as the previous farmer from Joanna saying that he's got taken over from his father at the communal land. Young farmers are starting to go into farming, and most of them they are coming from communal land. But now you're finding still that old people who are in communal land. Now you're starting buying cattle from the farm itself. And then you speak about uniform. And I say when you say about uniform, it must be one breed or one kind of thing. The challenge that we have in communal land is, we do have a challenge, we all know a communal land. Our bulls, or someone's bull is just moving around to our animals and those things. How can you guys maybe to advise or maybe
each and everyone here to come and workshop us in terms of how can we move out of this system. Because somehow we are out of the system, but now there is also that other farmers who are still in that old system. So we need help in terms of that. So in order we can really supply more animals to where it is needed.
Okay, my response to that is I do get what you're saying. The fact that communal areas have different farmers, they have people who let out their bull all day, and some of them keep their bulls in the yard. So the other bulls can like co-mate with these other ones, and at the end of the day, you don't really know what breed is gonna come out of that. I get that part, and I keep saying that communal farmers, depending on the region, need to have some sort of caucus, some sort of like meeting arrangement where they actually have these standards that they set out for themselves in their farming operations. I always try to do that, but I try to find the best way. I'm still trying to find the best way in which to do that. But as far as I said, we need uniformity when it comes to these animals. It's not that it doesn't qualify if they're not uniform. Like I explained, it's going to be different. So if let's say there's farmer A, there's farmer B, and farmer C, they have different cattle that they bring in to the table. Now, all these farmers, they have their own brands on their animals. So with those brands, I am able to tell that, okay, for this brand, these guys brought me, say for instance, Afrikaner. I know Afrikaner does not do great in the feedlot system. So, but I also know that it's this farmer who brought it. And say farmer B brings Bonsmara, but his Bonsmara like 2 years old. And farmer C brings Chabray, that mix between the Chevrolet and the Brahman. Farmer C brings Chabray, they are winners, 6-7 months old, and yeah, they also have their brand. Farmer C is gonna get more money than all these other farmers. That's just a way of being fair. I'm supposed to weigh each and every one of these animals. I'm supposed to check the quality, the breed, all that. So at the end of the day, you will get different prices for your animals. But the other thing is, I don't know how we can connect, but I do have a lot of connections. I've been rubbing shoulders with a lot of important people in the industry. I don't know how it would happen, but if you guys can group yourself up, I can actually organize an information day. There's this farmer that I know in closest to here, I would say Warrington. Okay, the farmer I know in Warrington is Bruce Hunt. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard about him. Yeah, Bruce Hunt and Sydney Hunt. So these guys are actually stud breeders. They are stud breeders of the Chevrolet. They're also stud breeders of the Brahman. Now, what these guys do is they sell their studs, they sell their bulls. Their bulls cost 50,000. But for a limited amount of time, like he spoke to me 2 to 3 weeks back, he was telling me that he needs money quick and he's willing to sell his bulls for 30,000. He has super quality bulls, and there are people from Mozambique actually coming to buy bulls from him, the Brahman. He got the grey Brahmans when they were still a thing back in the day. He got them from America. They weren't South African Brahmans, they were American grey Brahmans. So that's what he's been working with. So I could organize some sort of like information day so that you guys visit, they explain everything, they tell you about how they actually raise their animals and all that. So I don't know if that helps. Thank you.
Any more questions, sir?
Relax, Mr. Madumba. So did you pick up something from this guy? He's been saying all these things without a book, a phone, or anything. But he managed to say everything that you need to hear. Did you? Go out to hotel. This guy knows what he does. He knows what he does. He sleeps this, he woke up this, woke.
He wakes up this. The whole day. I'm wondering, another girlfriend. Or you go back there? Married. I wonder what I'm going to how I'm going because I got a number of young farming business. And that. Because I get to have 1 o'clock here. Ngwana kana mfutse ile ntle ke di batla ke di skafe ke di ise kwa kana phoko ile tsohetse ke tshwantse ke ntshe ga gona market ke a go rekisetsa mang ba gona go e reka ka 2000 oh babo so I'm wondering gore how does he do this and I'm wondering if one because I mean how to haka bo 12 o'clock over na self I swa ga bo 12 o'clock ke stressela wa go tsena ka bo 4 ke gone ke create gape bo ro guys I'm gonna call Mr. Matumba Michelle from Namibia. I really get we are abroad. I do not let him study, otherwise, Lokana is Amazon. I let him study. I want to say. One day. The ladies want to know if you are married or engaged or committed or you are just anybody like me. Hey, Mr. Matumba is from Namibia and he will be telling us about how to grazing, farming, cattle and whatever. You'll be saying after. Mr. Huh?
Okay, firstly, on the first question Mr. Dusty asked, I think I should respond. No, I'm not married. I am busy fighting poverty, so I told people they must wait. Poverty is still the biggest battleground that I'm busy with. So I don't believe in bringing someone's daughter to poverty. I don't think it's fair to whoever I'm getting married to. Isn't it fair? I'm sure because I know predominantly Botswana people believe in Lobola, isn't it? So you guys would love to get something for your daughter. I can't give you a packet of bright pack chicken. I need to give something. So, no, Mr. Dusty, I'm not taken, I'm not married. I'm fighting poverty, Chief. Please and thank you. I'm fighting poverty first. But yeah, no, guys, firstly, I have to say, I have to greet in my mother tongue. So in my mother tongue, when we greet at an event like this, we say, Kwinavuti. And then people would say, Hande. Hande means, when I say Kwinavuti, I'm asking, how are you? When you say Hande, it means I'm well. So that's just how we respond. So if I say Kwinavuti, you say? Hande. Thank you, my people. Thank you very much. I am from Namibia. My name is, okay, the name the Christians gave me is Mitchell. My African name is Mutumba. Not Matumba, Mutumba. It's Mutumba. Surname is Simata. I do hail from Namibia, but originally from the Zambezi region. That is that arm strip in on the Namibian map. That's where I'm from. We are the people that live next to the river, so we get to see hippos and crocodiles. So that's my people. Do we have any connections with Botswanas? Not. Yeah, I think so. But it has to be now the Botswanas that mixed with the Sotho people that came through. This is why we speak Silozi in that area, which is a dialect of Setswana and Sesotho. It's a mixture, which became there. So that's who I am, but I can't speak any Lozi. Don't ask me to speak it, I will just probably insult you. I can't speak it. So now, what am I going to speak about? As Mr. Dusty said, grazing. No. The biggest thing, when I was talking about coming to this event, and I asked some of my friends, what do I talk about? Because I have so many presentations on this laptop. I think I have over 500 presentations. Over 500 only, just on livestock farming. So, just like my dear brother, we eat and sleep farming all day. So, my friend told me, you see, Headman, that's my TikTok name. That is, because it's in my mother tongue, it's literally on my shirt here. It's called Nduna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle, right? Because every time we create pages with farmers, the farmer guy, the handsome, no. I said, screw that, I'm African, you're going to learn my language. It means headman of cattle, so it's Nduna Wengombe. So you're going to learn that word. So then when the people were engaging me, they were telling, no, Mr. Headman, talk about fertility. Because in our villages, in our farms, we have fertility problems. And then we turn around and say, you guys are Botswana, so you say Malume is bewitching you. If the cows are busy having abortions. First thing is the Malume. It's the same in my culture also, we suspect the uncles. And the granny will always laugh at strange things. So then I said, and I asked myself then, what could really influence fertility of livestock? What is it? In Australia and Canada, which are very advanced in farming, they believe in feeding your animals for fertility. Which means that they tailor-make the fodder they give the animals to encourage your cow or your bull to produce enough semen or your cow to come and eat. And I know many African farmers don't know this. Because we open the gate, we chase the cows and you walk and you ask him, how's the cows? They tell you the cows are well. In Lozi they say, that's what they say every time. But the cows are not well. So I think if African farmers can understand that if you can do pastures, which means planting grazing, and you can have a planted grazing which has a mixture of kikuyu grass and legumes. What are legumes, my people? Legumes are things like your soya bean, right? Legumes are like your lucerne. When you plant your ground nuts and you harvest the ground nut, that greenery, what do you do with that? Harvest that, bale it up, put it in a cement mixer. We use cement mixers. We take a cement mixer, we take a bale of grass, we break it apart, we throw it in there, we mix, and we give our livestock. That encourages our cows now to understand that they have to start producing, because they're getting energy and protein. Energy and protein are very important to a cow's diet. Just as important it is to my brother here, Mr. Dusty, because you need to have some protein in your diet, right? I know if you played rugby, like my dear brother, Mr. Hosi mentioned there, he played rugby. Protein was critical. Why? Muscle building. Energy is critical. Why? Because you need energy to be able to perform your daily activities, isn't it? If you don't get enough energy, you'll not be able to walk around. So then, some of the things that I also pay attention when I look at my livestock, there's a statement I make, because I know my leader mentioned body score. But I say this, if I stand there and I look at my cow, and I can count the ribs of the cow, and I can count the collarbones of that cow, I call them the guitar. If I can see a guitar walking, I can't breed that cow. There is a cow that I have to remove from my kraal, put aside, get in the ideal condition, then I put it to a bull. But as I was coming here, driving, what is this place called? I don't know, there's no fence there. This municipality here. I'm seeing cows that are very thin, but they have calves. And I'm asking myself, what's going on here? But then I understood, no, it's the black mentality, because I'm a black man too. Because when you ask black farmers, how many cows do you have? He'll tell you, I don't know. As long as I see cows. So it's that mindset, as long as I can see a cow, then they think, no, I'm a farmer now. And they go buy the khaki clothing, the Land Cruiser, and it's in the camp chairs, and they're all over the place. So this is why I need people to start paying attention to this, right? So pay attention, particularly because I know South Africa, you guys do a lot of feeding of your animals. Pay attention to the ration and the nutritional value of what you're giving your cow. I mean your livestock here, right? Because if you know what you're giving them, you understand that you're encouraging something. Cows are just like us as human beings. When your doctor tells you, you are what you eat. It's the same thing with the cow. There's nothing different. It's not something unique. It's not really rocket science here, right? So they say the key players in the overall well-being of your animal is, of course, it's your energy, it's your minerals, and it's your protein. These should not miss in any ration you give your cows. Because if they miss, you end up seeing things that you start running into funny things, like your cows aren't getting into heat at the right time. Now you're sitting there, you're wondering what's going on, and you go say, no, my cows are slow. But probably it's what you're doing, right? Then those people also have to understand, when we talk about high protein feed stuff, these are the legumes that I mentioned. Farmers, I'm not going to tell you what the legume is. I need you to go research what legumes are. Because I think we need to become our own vets, our own researchers, and then we also need to become our own nutritionists. You can't wait for my leader here, Mr. Kosi, to upload a video and you're there. You can't even type like. Some of you guys must learn to like people's videos, please. Then the next thing thank you, my brother. The next thing that I also say in livestock that is quite critical is mineral blends. What is your mineral blend? But Mr. Can you pass me that Verbex there? I love Verbex. I use a lot of the box there of Verbex.
But isn't they call me Mr. Martin?
Oh, okay. I like Verbex because I use a lot of their products, right? This injection, this box, when do you give it to your bull? Any farmer tell me now. There we go. Why do we do that? Why before breeding?
of trace elements, some of them that play a huge role. Yeah?
Trace elements, and also it has the 3 sperm producing minerals in it: magnesium, copper, and zinc. I'm sure as a man, if you are married and you're trying to start a family, your doctor will also prescribe a multivitamin to you, which has the same ingredients. Why? That's what we need. And the same magnesium, copper, and zinc is also being subscribed to your cows. This is why we also inject our cows the heifers, before breeding season. Why? It's to encourage them to come to heat and also produce enough ovaries. Once you give this to your bull, just test this one day. Inject the bull, keep it in a camp separate, keep the females one side. Watch what will happen. It will jump the fence. Just do this. This is all it needs. Oh, sorry, my brother. Just put it there. And then vitamin A, right? Vitamin A, people don't understand how important vitamin A is to your cows. Vitamin A, if you're not going to give it to your bulls, you decide, I'm not injecting this, it's expensive, right? What's going to happen here is 2 things. One, in your heifers, you're going to see the cow giving birth to weak calves. You're going to see low rates of them falling pregnant. You're going to see things like abortions. And now from my region, when cows start aborting, we suspect who? Our aunties and our uncles. They are the first people we start suspecting, and we ask them, what is your problem with us? That is just how you have to understand that if you start paying attention to these things and tailor-making, giving animals nutrients, you can skip my dear friend, thank you very much. Giving animals the nutrients at the right time, it really influences your farming levels. My one mentor is a Brahman breeder by the name of Andres de Jager. He farms in Khobabas area. He's the owner of Wisana Brahman. He's been farming for over 40 years. This man every year gets his cows pregnant, 60% pregnancy rate in his farm. Every year. And at first I said, no, this white man is using witchcraft. Because us who are struggling here in the mid-30s, he's hitting 60. Then he sat me down and he said, I feed my cows and my bulls for fertility. I understand the importance. I don't just go buy a bag of lick because I saw Dusty buy it. I also grab it and I walk with it home, because I know most of us do that. He pays attention to what his cows need, and then he tailor makes the feeding and the licks that he does. So there are things like this. Let me say, what happens to when your cow gets an inadequate protein intake in their feed, right? You start seeing that your cow won't come into heat. They don't come into heat. You bought a heifer 2 years ago, it has never taken a bull. What's going on? It's just eating grass. What's in your grass? The other thing that I want to put in here, I don't know this province, sorry, we use regions, but you guys say province. What's the rainfall pattern in this province? Is it high or low?
All right.
Rainfall pattern, high or low?
Medium.
Medium. Perfect. Sweet grass. If you want to test that theory, when the grass is green, pull a piece of grass, take a bite of it, tell me what you taste. Is it sweet or sour? Areas like Limpopo, the Venda regions, right, where the soil is dark, there is sour felt area. It means that grass, very little minerals, very little nutrition in it, lots of carbohydrate. So when you take that grass and you bite it, it'll be sour. So you understand, why is it sour? Because too much rain washes out nutrients, and that's why the soil ends up becoming black. So these are the things that you have to pay attention to. Another thing that I also want to tell you guys, don't skip it, is also, when you're working with your bull, my fellow farmers, how do you guys say farmer in Setswana? It's Balini.
Barui.
Barui. In my mother tongue is Balini.
Balimi.
Barui. Okay. You see, the issue we have is some of you guys are taking a young bull, right? My dear brother from Botswana, I have to come to you because you said you're a Brahman guy. Put it here, my brother. Just put it here. You know why? Because South Africa, you guys have an obsession with Bosmara cattle. I don't understand what it is. I have never found an animal breed that does not make sense to me, but it makes sense to you guys. The marketing, they invested millions. Terrible breed, but you guys love it. Terrible. Honestly, that's my opinion. Terrible breed. But that's why I keep on saying that you need to know what is the ratio of a bull to cow. If your bull has come for the first time, started mounting, how many cows should he take? You can't give him 50 and say, work. And if he doesn't make all of them pregnant, it's useless, this one. What's the next thing when you start saying this breed is useless? No. Know the ratio cow to bull. And also pay attention to injuries, my people. I see, because when I came driving here, I saw a bull with the shelf area that is quite long, and the pink thing was hanging out. Why do people buy bulls like that? I can never touch a bull like that. Why? Because such a bull walks through these bushes, thorn bushes, gets injured, game over, no breeding. Pay attention to these things. Don't just go buy because my boy here, Dusty, told you it's 7,000. You are running now. No. Understand. You need to, oh, sorry, my senior, let me respect him. My senior here, my senior here, he's selling you a bull for 7,000. So you need to pay attention to these things. Because once a bull gets injured, whether it was fighting and someone got injured, the shelf is damaged, there's no breeding that's going to happen there. You can call every vet, sorry, this is one. You can call every vet, you can call the best vets in South Africa, Namibia, wherever you want to get them. Nobody will be able to help you. But also what I want you also to pay attention to this is, guys, like what my brother Mr. Hosi mentioned there, right? Oh, it's back? We're back? Okay, we're back. You see, I think it's because I mentioned Bosmara. See, these Bosmara guys are terrorists. They're even switching off the power. But okay, you see, as I say, another thing you also have to pay attention to is when your cows are coming, you want to breed them. The level of stress, like what my leader, Mr. Hosi, mentioned. If a cow, just like you as a human being, if you are extremely stressed, we can't expect you to perform your daily duties in the bedroom. You might not be able even to get your wife pregnant or whatever it is you're doing. You might not be able to. So pay attention to this thing. So try to keep your animals as chilled as possible. This thing, myself, my farm workers know it. There's no chasing cows. You don't run after cows. You don't chase cows with horses. You walk with my cows and you talk to my cows. This thing of beating, I don't allow that. I might take the stick and beat you with it. That's just how I operate. So you need to understand that my animals should always be kept very relaxed. I don't want you to make them wild, that they start jumping fences. There's a reason why I'm doing that, right? So my dear brother, you can move me along to the grazing thing. How much time do I got? It's 30 minutes, right? I got my timer running. Okay, I got 16. You can close that and then open up the other one, but at least you're still doing that. But let me help you here. You see, so another thing that I wanted to touch on today is your grazing. Because that's something we don't pay attention to, right? We don't really pay attention to the grazing. The only time most of you look at the grass is when there's no rain. That's when you complain, no, it's not raining this year. But overall, do you ever look at your grass? What is your grazing system on your farm? Who's running a continuous grazing system? Who's running rotational? Who's got padlocks? Am I speaking too much English, guys? I can't speak Setswana, sorry guys. I'm not that fluent. I might just end up saying something terrible in Setswana. Okay, cool. So when I say continuous grazing, right? This is what happens when you have a farm or a village, like the gentleman said, the villages, where your cows just go out to a pasture, they graze continuously there, there is no fencing, there is no controlling, they're just eating. And they keep on going back. And you know, cows are like us as human beings. You offer us a glass of orange juice, a glass of lemon juice, you tell us, you blindfold us and say, drink these 2 glasses, pick which one you like, you pick the sweet one. Cows do the same. If cows know that the nice grass is growing at the riverbed, they'll keep going back there. Which means what happens to the rest of the farm? They don't graze it. What does that lead to? Undesirable plants. You get your thorn bushes that start growing. Now you have bush encroachment on your farm. Not uneven, what do you call this? Uneven spacing of manure. Because remember, manure also helps encourage the growth of grass. Now if the cows are just going to the river there, what's happening? My farm is not being properly utilized, right? So these are things that we want to pay attention to. And then when the farm is not properly utilized, it means the quality of grazing starts becoming lower and lower and lower. You lose the good grass, you start getting, it gets replaced by this funny looking blackish hard grass that grows. I don't know why it grows, but it grows. But you can skip them, my dear friend. It's not paying attention to you. Let's do this here. Where are we? We here? All right. Then the second one is, it's a two-system grazing. It's a two-step grazing system. This is where now you've gotten a farm or a village and you decide you're not just going to leave it as one big space, you're going to cut it in the middle, you're going to put cows for maybe a couple of months in one camp and leave the other camp to rest. So what does that do? It means now, since you're keeping the cows in one camp, they're cornered off in one camp. It means they have to eat everything there, right? It means they're going to graze, They're going to get rid of the weeds. If there are plants that are undesirable to the cow, they'll walk on them. If you ever go into the field and look at your cows, where they step on a plant, that's a plant they don't eat. Because cows don't step on grass, they step on things they don't like eating. So that means this area is getting properly utilized, the other side is resting. Time now, let's say the rains come, you move them from this camp to the next door camp, the rains come, the rain here, the grass starts recovering. This place is given a chance to recover. That is what is critical there. It's giving your camps enough time to recover. Because I think, what I've picked up is some farmers confuse overgrazing and drought. I've noticed that with black farmers. In Namibia, they'll say, I'm experiencing drought, but actually what he's experiencing is overgrazing. The cows have just finished everything. Because there is no management of his camps. But a two camp system, what are the disadvantages? Of course, now the grasses are getting eaten, the camp gets enough time to rest. What are the disadvantages? I have to spend money on fencing. And probably, let's say your fence is 6 kilo, 6 kilo, 6 kilo, 6 kilo. How much are you spending? You're spending quite a rand there. Some money is going to leave your pocket. Then don't forget the water infrastructure that you have to put in place. You have to bring water there now. Means pipes. And then now you have to put, probably build a crib or buy a crib. So these are the expenses that are going to come from you. And then it also requires you to have good management. It means you go out every morning, you go look at the grass, you say, okay, we're still good, we're going to keep them here a bit longer. The grass starts looking a bit like, you move the cows. It's not just the thing of asking your, what do you call a farm worker again in Setswana? Mudise. Mudisa. Yeah, you don't ask you Mudisa what's going on. Mudisa says, chief, everything is nice. We are cruising here. And then you go find that it's not cruising. It's why you have to pay attention. Let's move over to the padlock system. Now the padlock system, right? You've moved from 2 camp, now you've decided to do a padlock system. Padlock system means you've taken your big camps, you're cutting them into smaller camps. Why are you doing this for better management? In the big camp where it's 2 camps, you'd find still situations where cows don't properly graze the farm. They pick where they want to go and then you do what you can. But in padlocking system, it means you're putting them in smaller units. It means they stay there, they're going to have to graze everything there. And then you move them. And then it means after you move them from padlock 1 to padlock 2, this padlock 1 gets to rest, they go into padlock 2, they start grazing there, they move to padlock 3. You see? So now your farm worker can't lie to you. You have to go and look at the grazing and say, okay, this is what's happening, I see what's happening in my camps. But then again, it goes back to the disadvantages. Of course, again, money. You're going to have to take out money, guys. You can't be stingy. I always tell farmers, before you pay yourself, you pay the farm first. The farm's money is not your money, by the way. Your money is what you do on the side. The farm's money is the farm's money. It goes to the farm. So you're going to have to invest here. Again, you're putting up camps, you're putting water infrastructure. It's going to cost you more than anything else. But the padlocking system is what, if you look in countries like the UK, in the UK they actually do it. In Africa we do, but ours are a bit big, but we do it too. I attempted the padlock system, I cut my farm into 4 camps. It was expensive, I won't lie, because you have to buy the fencing, you have to get people who are strong enough to chop with the number 3X, and then you also have to get people to pull wires. It's quite expensive, it was expensive. Labor intensive, capital intensive. But once that is put in place, it gives you better control of what's going on in your farm, in terms of your grazing there, right? Brother, do we have another slide there? All right, something that I always come to, when I come to people and I ask them, they tell me, no, I'm farming, my brother. Okay, what are you farming with? No, I'm farming Bosmara. Okay, cool. What's your stocking rate of your farm? When I say stocking rate, what do I mean by that? It's saying, what is your carrying capacity of your farm? What can your farm carry? Right? We have situations where people, their farm can take only 80 herds of cows, but they're pushing it to 120. And then when the grazing is gone, they come and complain, no, drought. It's not drought. Know the carrying capacity of your farm. Because when you know the carrying capacity of your farm, your animals will be able to better utilize the camp better. If your farm takes 80 and you have 120, it means the few will get fat and then the rest will be thin. Like what Mr. Hosi said. We'll be seeing guitars walking around, but yet the cows are in the same camp. What's going on? It's because you're overstocking it. And what happens when you overstock your farm? You start having overgrazing. Overgrazing leads to what? Poisonous plants. They start growing. Because poisonous plants love growing where cattle have overgrazed. This is something I've studied. The one we get is what we call in Afrikaans slanko. That's the one we get. The cows eat it now, drink water, game over, by a few minutes is down. You can't do anything. So this is why you need to know what the stocking capacity. But if you say, but Hetman, how do I even know what the stocking capacity is? This is why when you purchase a farm, or you lucky enough get a state farm, there is your agricultural extension officers. They have the stocking numbers for every province and every sector. They'll be able to tell you, because of this and this, and in this area, you need to carry this much animals, right? So once you do that, then at least it gives you a better idea. So let's stop putting our farms under stress by running big numbers of cattle because you want to look rich. My brother, Mr. Hosi, calls it pride farming. Let's stop that thing of having 200 cows while your farm can only carry 90 cows. Stick within the limits. But then there's another phenomenon that also happens when people understock. There's overstocking, there's understocking. Now understocking is when my farm carries again 80, I decide just to have 40 cows. What happens when I have 40 cows? Grazing is not being utilized, right? Remember, the cows also play a very important role when they walk around your farm with soil management. What do I mean by that? They allow the soil not to become too hard. They trample the soil. They also disperse manure, which encourages grass to grow. They also control bushes. But now when I've understocked the farm, number one, what's going to happen is, first thing I'll start seeing is bush encroachment. This is a phenomenon that we have in Namibia now, that so many farms, it's just bush encroachment. You can't even walk through them. It's terrible. People have started doing charcoal now, but it's terrible. I was driving through here, I could see some open lands with a few trees. It's open. That's lovely. You should keep it that way. Other thing that happens is, as I said, the thorn bushes grow. The plants that you don't want to grow in your camp do grow. You see, that does happen because you're understocking your farm. So you need to be careful, because if your cows aren't using your proper grazing areas like this ones that I saw here, what's going to happen is they'll be taken over by a thorn bush. In Namibia we call it the acacia. It's called the vachabiki. Black thorn, the akin stick. I don't know what you guys call buffalo thorn, probably. Maybe that's what you call it here. It's acacia, eh? Yeah, so the acacia will take over. And once it takes over, this thing is as stubborn as a mother-in-law. It doesn't go away. You can clear it, cut it, you keep cutting it, it keeps growing back. The only way to get rid of it is either poisoning it or digging and taking the roots out. And that costs a lot of time and a lot of money. If you have money, some of you guys have money, you can get a plane to fly over with some herbicide, kills the plant. But if you don't have that, you're going to spend so much money hiring your cousins to come and chop, and they'll be chopping, and it will never come to an end. So that's a fight that we are still having till today on the farms that we have. The one farm that I have was completely encroached. There was no grass growing there. It was just hard soil and acacias. To the point where they grow like this, like a crop. You can't even walk through that farm. This is why I buy khaki clothing, because if you're wearing a polo shirt there, you would have ripped it apart. Worst of all is when you're riding a horse, and the horse decides to be naughty and it runs with you in the acacia palm. That has happened to me, I nearly lost an eye. But fortunately I ducked. So this is why you need to pay attention to what you're doing on your farm, right? Pay attention to your stocking numbers, so your cattle do not overgraze it or undergraze it, because everything has a negative outflow. So are you with me, my farmers?
With you.
In closing, the Bosmara is the worst breed ever. Thank you, sir. No, sorry, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But then, okay, South African farmers, I don't know what the obsession is with Bosmara. We have tested it in Namibia. It has not showed us anything. That's why we are either Brahman, Simmental, and like I farm, because my shirt says Induna Simbra, which means headman Simbra. So yeah, we believe in just meat and meat and meat and meat. Not in red animals, but in meat. So
any questions?
Oh, you can ask a question. Yeah, who's the Bosmara? Oh, okay, cool. It's the Brahmana.
Any questions?
We got him.
Recognize you. Any questions again? Yeah, I recognize you. I recognize you.
So, my question
Go.
Oh, you're picking it. Oh.
No, I was just recognizing them.
My question is
Or recognizing
about paddocks, right? But I feel like that only applies to plus. I want you to touch on the communal. What is the best route to choose?
Okay, you see, most communal areas. Okay, now I'll bring it back to my communal area. You see, we are fortunate enough that in our communal areas, our villages are neighboring. It will usually be your uncles, your cousins. So it's a family structure. So if you guys have that form of unity as farmers in a particular village, where you guys can say, listen, we need to better manage our grazing. and then we build the padlocking, or you build a two-system camp for the cows. You guys agree, then you go for that. In some communal areas, because one of the most interesting things that I've picked up is some communal areas, your chiefs actually allow you to fence off your land. So if they give you that option to fence off your own land, you can build a little camp for your own cows, just to better manage. Because I always say, most communal areas, particularly where I'm from, which is now Namibia, it is like a soccer match without a referee. Everybody's doing what they want and when they want. It's problematic. I know, I've been there. I have been involved in police cases where I nearly shot people's cows, because it happens. And it's because that person's bull with horns comes and fights with your bull and injures it. And when you tell that guy, he tells you, I didn't tell the bull to go there. So I said, okay, it's fine, we're going to eat the bull for December. So I've had those cases. I get where you're going from, but it all goes back to the cooperation within the communal setup. If there's proper cooperation, you guys can work together. You can develop whatever type of grazing system. Because I know in some communal areas, the farms that are 10 k's from you, the cows will come and eat in your area. So if you can manage that, it'll be a positive for you. To answer you then, my dear friend. All right, cool. Ma'am.
So my question is, so if you want to purchase a farm, so what are the good characteristics that you should know that this is the perfect farm? The perfect land farm for your cattle?
No, I'm answering her. I'm going to answer her, then we can go to him.
Oh, you
Yeah. Look, for me, if you ask the question, what is the perfect farm? For me, the perfect farm that I've seen the most productive, where I was farming, was a farm area that didn't get too much heavy rain. So where I was farming, or where my camp is, we get, on a good year, we can get 300. That's okay. We don't want too much. But where I'm from the Zambezi, we get 1,000. You would think that the area with the highest rainfall would have the best cattle. But it's actually the contrary. The area with the 300, which rains constantly, cattle are actually better than those cows. And then it goes back again to the forage system. What type of grass is there? Because your sweet grass tends to be the one which is high in nutritional value compared to the sour grass. Sour grass is just a lot of carbohydrate. Now this is where we would give our cows a supplement that is called P6, phosphate, phosphate 6, right? Already mixed, not the one I mix myself. I buy the already mixed, because it helps get the nutrients the cows need. Because the one problem that I also picked up with my cows that were in the high rainfall areas is that they tend to have rickets. Their legs are bowed. It's quite interesting when you study these things. They have rickets. And I brought the vet because I was wondering, why is this cow getting rickets? How does a cow get rickets? The vet came through, vet looked at it, gave us a number of a nutritionist. Nutritionist told us, no, it's because your cow is not getting the needed nutrition. This is where it's developing bowed legs and rickets. So I would say the best farm for me is a farm that gets good rain, but not too much rain. If that's the answer that I can give you. It's almost like a cup full, cup half empty type of answer that I give you. I hope you got it.
Okay, one last question. And then in terms of grazing, right? Because probably like the farm that you get, like there's no cattle or whatever, so you just see grass. Right? Then you think, okay, there's a lot of grass.
How's the grass? Is it, you can't see on the other side? Can you see on the other side?
It's like medium.
So
like
when you
it's not
like
small, but it's not.
So
like,
when you stand in the field, can you see the other side?
Yeah, we can.
But how is it? Where is it coming to you? Is it chest, leg, ankle?
Like, yeah. But then now recently we just found out that we didn't know that it had like poisonous plants. Right? So then probably like 20 of our cows died within like 2 weeks. So how do you know that like what like should you supposed to like investigate or do what, especially as farmers that we just farm, we don't have the educational background like that. So like yeah.
I think the best is, as I said, look, if you're coming into an area, right, let's say I happen to, oh, time is up, eh? Just kill that. I'll take last and then I'll take that question, then I'll be done, guys, because I'm sure you guys are tired. But I think the best thing you can do is, if you want to know the type of grazing you are coming into, right, you can engage senior farmers that have been farming a bit long in the area. Those ones that are willing to share. If not, you guys are fortunate you have agricultural extension officers. So these guys will have a better understanding of the type of grazing. The rule of thumb for me is when I come to a farm and it's rain, my grass should just be able to grow here. It shouldn't go over my knee. When it goes over my knee, it makes me start questioning the type of grazing that I have here. Most of the time, the one that grows very big to the point that it can grow as high as your stomach is most of the time grass that is terrible in nutrition. It's sour grass. These are things, because people ask me, how do you know this? Because I don't know. I would go into the field, break grass, and chew the grass. I don't know why I do it, but I was forced to do it. I'll just do it. Because that's how I want to understand what type of grazing I have. Because if you take your, castor light can, that's the goal. You can put it down on the ground. If the grass grows higher than that, covers it, then you should be wondering what exactly. Then you know it's a high rainfall area, right? But you get some farms that are anomalies. When I say anomalies, they have high rainfall, medium rainfall, and then they have sweet and sour grass, which is a perfect blend. But then the problem is with that, if you don't have camps, your cows will always go back to the sweet grass, graze everything out, leave that sour one there, and move on with their lives. So that becomes also problematic. I don't know, what's the next question? Did I answer you, my dear?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thanks. What's the next one?
Papa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
This is not a question there. I just want you to go back to the part where you talked about undergrazing. Just emphasize a few points. I missed a few points.
No, you see, because we get the two, right? You get overgrazing and undergrazing. Overgrazing, you know, it's the cows are finishing everything. Undergrazing is when the cows are eating, but they're not eating enough of the grazing, you know? So what happens on most of those farms, the phenomena we have picked up on those farms that are understocked, not overstocked, understocked, we have seen that some of the camps, even though you have good grazing, some of those camps, those grass do not get eaten. So even when the rains come and it's raining nice, you still have that old brownish grass, that hard grass is still there. And then the biggest thing that comes, which is the enemy to most farmers in Namibia, is the thorn bushes. Because when they start growing, the acacia one, it's problematic. Because that one, we chop, it doesn't stop, it keeps on regrowing. Just needs, maybe let's say 10 millimeters of rain and it starts. So that's why, because your cows also, remember the cows, before you brought technology and everything, livestock, even the buffaloes, like my brother Mr. Hossi said, were used to what? To regulate the pastures. They would walk around, eat, destroy what they don't eat, and you had grass. But what happened when we took away the buffaloes? We started seeing more of these thorn bushes here, you see? So that also happens when you understock your farm. So it's also critical that you go to the, as I said, when you buy or you get, or you're getting land, or you one of the lucky million that apply and get a state farm, you need to know what the stocking number is. You see units like LSU, which is large stock per unit. Then there's SU, which tells you how much small stock you can have, right? And then you try to keep it within that number. Did I answer you, my friend? Okay, thank you. Ma'am?
Hi.
Yes.
I wanted to check. I owned Brahmans before, but I couldn't manage them. I could hear that you now talk of them not promoting the boss matters. So how do you manage this? Because they get
aggressive.
They get eaters when it goes to winter.
They get what? They get
they thin.
Oh, they get thin.
Yeah.
Okay. No. You see, there thinning, my people, does happen, right? Right? We all, like, you notice that different times of the year we all lose weight. But when your cows go to the guitars, then it tells you two things. These are two things that I pay attention to now. One is how much grazing is still in my farm, right? Is there still enough? How's the grazing looking? If the grazing is dry, because remember, when the grass is dry, it's like eating a biscuit. If you're eating a biscuit that's very dry, you're not getting any nutrition from that biscuit. This is why now I would go to my agricultural shop, which, funny enough, it's called Agra. In Cap, we also have Cap Agri, the Agri-Mart. And I would go buy the leek that I mentioned right now, the P6. Because the P6 for me, or P6 or dry felt. There are two of them. There's dry felt and then the P6 one, right? And there's also bush improver you can also play around with if you're in this heavily enclosed areas. So now when I buy the P6, P6 helps me break down the grass, the dry grass. Means now the cows are able to absorb the nutrients from the dry grass. Because if the grass is dry, it's just so much fiber. When you just eat a high fiber diet, are you getting any other nutrients? This is where we end up becoming what we get. We become constipated as human beings, right? Become constipated, we end up becoming bloated because we're not getting the nutrients we need. So that's why I add the P6 to that. If not P6, I buy another one which is called dry felt leek. There's the concentrate and there's the leek. The concentrate you have to mix yourself, so I avoid that if you don't know what you're doing. Buy the already mixed one. So that dry felt, again, I give that to my animals right around winter, beginning of winter season, heading into now it's October. If the rains haven't come and I have a lot of dry grass, I give that leek. But then I also want people to understand there's a difference between a lick and a feed. Because people confuse the two things. They're not interchangeable. A lick is a supplement. A feed is your lucerne bales you go buy, your kikuyu grass bales you buy. That's a feed. Your maize chops and your silage, that's a feed. A lick is a supplement. Now this one could put, I don't know what's in there, but a lick is a supplement that we give our cows because our cows are not getting certain nutrients from the grazing. If I'm farming in, as I said, in Venda, for example, it's high, it's too much rain there. That grass is sour. No nutritional value, so I need to give the cows what they're not getting from the grass, so they grow. This is what you guys would see when you go to Mr. Fantonda's farm here and you see his cows look fat. But the cows are eating the same grass as yours. What's going on? He's paying attention to the nutritional value. He's paying attention to what their cows are eating. While you on the other of the day, you want them must just go out and go eat grass and God for us all, and we pray. And so that's the problem. We need to change the mindset. And I like Mr. Jose and somebody else mentioned it there. As I know I talk a lot, guys. I'm sorry. I think my grandfather was a pastor, probably inherited their genes. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But we need to change our mindset and remember this. This is the critical formula I'll give you now. Right? This is something I also said in the ad for this farming event. Farming is a business. Understand what are the major drivers of your business. If I come to you and I come talk to my brother Dusty here, or my senior here, and I see him driving a Land Cruiser, it does not impress me. I get impressed when I stand in your corner and I look at your cows. That's how I can tell if you're a good farmer or a bad farmer. So stop thinking now you've bought a farm, Land Cruiser, John Deere, khaki, and you're walking all over the place making noise for us. No. Show me how your cows look like and I'll determine just by looking at them. So it's a business. You need to start treating it as such, and it's not a hobby, my people. Let's lose that mentality of it's a hobby. Let's stop. This is a business. It's capital intensive and it's financial intensive. You are paying somebody, you are renting these places, and you are buying machinery here. So why treat it like a hobby? So I'll end with that, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitchell Mutumba Simata. If I broke your feelings, I'm sorry. I'm not here to nurse your feelings, guys. Farming is brutal. Thank you very much.
Hey, bagaitso re tla tsoga re ya ko lunchine ga ke batle go bua thata ka gore ka lo a boraganyana. Anyway, ke kopa le nna ke tlo go nesa di-feelings tsa nyena for my castle light. I'm drinking this and I'm gonna drink it. Unless Casey Farming and Tare from platform ga o tlhole o dira dilo tse di right. Our next okay, our next presenter ke Katlego o tle go re kaetsa gore di ntša di berekiwa yang ko tse di disang or tse di tlhokomelang leruo. Katlego, are you here? Okay. And then o tla dira presentation nyana ba tla itirela hale ga ke itse gore a lo tla kgona go sheba. Danko.
Dumelang batsadi. Ka leina ke nna Katlego Segole from Mafikeng. I'm honored to be here for KC Farming Camp. Ke rata go leboga re Mighty Lekiso go invite us today. And ke rata go leboga le dibui tsotlhe tse di buileng. I've learned a lot from you guys and I'm humbled honestly to be here and then to speak after you ke kokobeditse thata. Le lona batsadi ba le ready tseng ba di tlileng go tla go tshegetsa tiro e. Ke a le leboga. Nna ke tlo bua Setswana ke Motswana. Ke tla se tlhaloganya le sekgowa mo ke kgonang. Ke tla simolola kae? Go tshimologo. Well, ke tsene mo dog industry by default. I was in Potchefstroom College of Agriculture, and I like to share this story because I think it can motivate what you want. Sometimes when you want something, you have to go for it. Now, what was happening ko sekolong re fiwa go thata dira di enterprises, we go for enterprises. I lied to South African National Defence Force where I get a enterprise go bone. And then by then no gonna le dog training, no gonna le the courses starting. I went there and then I learned a lot. And that's how I got into dog training and dog breeding and all those things. Now, but then I realized there's something else. And I'm somebody who I breed savannas, I breed Kalharis, I breed bull coats. Now, with that being said, now, I'm just going to link whatever say all the presenters about before now, what I'm going to say. I think Mr. Mutumba, if I'm not mistaken, he said breed with an animal, it can eat less and then produce more. Now my former lecture said you cannot become an animal farmer without you being a grass farmer. Now, on the dogs, also, you cannot have nja osaitso re go berekela yang. And then that tells you gore bogodu bo bontsi batsadi, wherever, everywhere bogodu bo bontsi. Now, I'm going to be very, very clear because what is happening and what's not what before you can say make it the point that you know omang and then I will explain that again and then also omokai and then and make it the point that you go and learn about the breed for instance, if you are on a farm, you are going to be looking for animals that can guard your livestock and the farm around. And then each and every one of us need security, whether you like it or not. Each and every one of us here, we need security. And sometimes you are in town and then someone breaks into your house, you need something that can respond quickly. I know there are various people here by Longkore, they are dealing with cameras, but cameras are not that helping. You need something that can respond, that response, attend to the problem. Now, having to find that man's best friend. Now, Dinja, they are very, very intelligent. We've got different breeds. I just brought 3 breeds here, which is German Shepherd and the Border Collie and the Cattle Dog. Now, we are going to be talking about that and then for now, you as you farmers, you need to be having at least a dog your livestock. Now, I'm going to advise you to get Anatolian Shepherd dog. Yeah? Anatolian Shepherd dog, I'll describe the characteristics of them. It's either you get an Anatolian Shepherd dog or you get Rhodesian Ridgeback or Caucasian Shepherd dog. I don't know much about Caucasian Shepherd. I haven't bred that. I'm only on the Anatolians and then on the Rhodesian Ridgebacks. Now my problem with the Rhodesian Ridgebacks is that they're associated with cancer. So that's why I don't go with them. Bulls are okay. You can have bulls, but you need a dog it eat less and then it works over time. Bulls if I enjoy I don't say don't buy that dog, but it's in a dignity. That dog, it's a very, very good dog, but you need to know how to use now coming to the German Shepherds, I see a lot of people, a lot of farmers making a mistake of taking German Shepherds, but it's Yamo in the crowd. That's very, very wrong. And I'm going to be advising you, if you are doing that or if you were intending to do that, just stop that. Because German Shepherds, they are very closely related to wolves. So, that dog, you are just taming the genetic part of an animal. That genetic sometime, somewhere, and then especially something like no, this is what I'm enjoying, and then it's going to do that each and every now and then. So German Shepherds, they like biting. Rottweilers, they like biting. In the say go Navy, they are using Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois. Yeah, those are the dogs that I have, and the crazy ones, Dutch Shepherd. But now it's say, limit yourself. Don't say. I see a lot of people now flocking into Belgian Malinois. Belgian Malinois are very, very crazy, and if you don't know how to handle that dog, it's gonna be messy. Sometimes it's good to have that animal, but you can do something say long it you are going to imprint something say it's higher reactor. You are going to work against it, and then you are going to say, it's a useless dog. This dog does not do the way give a. And another thing that I'm going to say to you is that be careful of where you're buying your animals. Don't just buy a dog or no, I'm buying a dog from this guy, he's breeding German Shepherds. Look at the lineage, look at where does this dog come from. Because what you're looking for a dog, a protector, mojarati. You want a dog, it can become around people. That dog can become the black German Shepherd. It can become, but now when you give it a command to say do this, it does that. It can change at any time, and then and all those. So you want a dog it's going to listen to you. So what I'm saying right now, I'm talking about dog training. That's very, very important. You need to be able to talk to your dog. You need to be able to communicate with your dog. Without doing that, you're going to be beating your dog. You're not supposed to be beating your dog. The reason why I'm saying that you are instilling fear monjenye. Stick you as a bed or better and child. And then he's going to be doing the very same thing. Because yeah, it's also too. So what you need to be doing, you need to come up with ways that you can correct your dog in a positive way. But that I can say present at the moment. Now coming to the animal, this is one of my favorite Anatolian Shepherd dog. Most people tend to say it has the highest biting dog force. Yes, it's scientifically proven like that, but it does not necessarily mean that all Anatolians are just like that. It's just simple, like if you are having stud animals, I saw our approach that stud animals. So just I'm going back to the issue of make it a point that you know where your dog comes from. For instance, you take your Anatolian Shepherd dog from Akiti Kurmane Center, but I would say from the urban settlement, and then where it's our Isakoplasi, you are going to encounter Matata. That dog, it does not know nothing, and then yes, it was bred for that, but it's highly safe, and you're trying to make it do something. You understand? So you're actually doing you're imposing something and then it will never do that. So make it a point that you buy a dog you saw the parents working. I'm talking working dogs, I'm talking about Anatolians, border collie, cattle dog, and everything. I'm talking about all those things. Now, the difference between Anatolians and border collies, these are total different animals. Anatolians, they are guard dogs. They are not, they are guard dogs. Border collies, disco. Border collies are those chocolate and white, they palaming in. Those are border collies. They come in different colors. They come black and white, blue and white, you name all the colors and everything. So border collies are not guard dogs. They are herding dogs. You send them to go and collect those goats and then they come here. These dogs, they don't have that, they don't have they cannot do that. They are scaring you. But also, they are regarded as the third most intelligent dog ever in the universe. Now, if you are having that, you need to be knowing you might be having some dog, it might be clever, more clever than you. So if you are having that. Now, I'm not offending you, but that's how it is. That's how it is. Now, Now, that's the difference between Anatolians and border collies. You don't take border collies and then put them in the crowd of Bonana or Gita. They have some pudi, but then they won't cut. They are going to didn't or dinku from the danger. Now, the great Anatolians, it's a little to where the danger is, and you will never get in there. Signalo, hapana lipuna. Yeah, that's how Anatolians are. Anatolians, they don't want anything to be close to where Modi protectant thing. That's how Anatolians are. Now, going to the cattle dogs scale color white, tri-color. Those are called Australian cattle dogs. They do the very same thing that Anatolians do, and then the border collies do, but on the cattle. There's a breed called Kelpies. Kelpies is a substitute of border collie. It's a hardier dog than border collie. Border collie is so soft. It's very, very soft. I not too hard, but not too lenient. But then what I'm saying here, the Kelpies, they mesh. I would say they mesh with the Australian cattle dog. Australian cattle dog, they bite, they get and all those things. Those are Australian cattle dogs. Rottweilers, they are biters. They are used for biters. And then German Shepherds are used mostly for patrolling, searching drugs and all those things. Belgium, Illinois is also for doing that. It's unfortunate that I had a dog that I was using for the previous camp last year, Thale, that I trained. It was hit by a car. That dog, it was very, very good. It so happened for about without my knowledge. And then when I was just roaming around, it was able to so what I'm saying, you train this dog to can say to trail human trail. Some of those dogs eat bloodhounds that you can use those animals to do. Now I'm also doing, I also have those things. Now, why do I have the Njatse plasing, Nagimo plasing? Why do I have the Njatse plasing? Kurgira la Lohore, Hai Lohor Hokata, Haira Hore, we can track you down. As long as 3 days CC fit or Pula we can go around 60 kilometers, we can go and fetch you, return you, and then we come back. That's how we are doing things. Now, I am trying to protect whatever that I'm having, that's security. Making it a point that it's going to be very, very difficult for you to invest a lot in buying bags, ramps, and everything. The motor within 2 minutes and everything. It's just useless. So now I would say invest in security. I keep about white people, they invest in security before they can say in livestock and everything. You go to people by they have massive genetic animal, you would find that security sabone, it's tight. So make it a point that before you invest in whatever that you're going to be doing, secure that. It might not be Garinja, it might be in other ways, but make it a point that you secure your animals. Now, going to the issue I have suffered from, Adinja, which is parvovirus. The main thing too much. I remember 2023, I lost 17 dogs that I loved, parvo. Now, parvo is a very, very deadly disease. You don't want that disease to enter your kraal or once that disease is there, once parvovirus, ready, whatever stools it's a problem. And it's very, very difficult for you to resuscitate that animal. Now, I would advise please, when you get a puppy, make it a point that you vaccinate that puppy Now I vaccinate my animals 4 times. They will say you must vaccinate 3 times, but so I don't want anything to do with parvovirus. I've lost and I've had enough. Now parvovirus is a very very I remember le red tale na kidalla calling me o shetse ke ntse dintsi tota go bua mme tabila mpela ikaro ena ba mo tsama Setswana. So parvovirus it's very very deadly batsadi. And the funny thing about parvovirus, it can stay on an environment for more than 100 years if it's not that environment is not disinfected. So if you come with bringing your new puppy coming in that environment, osai vaccinator, osai disinfector, probabilities are you're going to get parvo. And this is one of the things that you guys need to attend to. It does not necessarily mean how vaccinated in 2 or 3 times you are done. Parvo can still enter. The immunity of that animal is still not good to backfire with parvo, because with vaccine, what you are doing, you are inflicting parvo motor hunter. If you are putting whatever that vaccine, you are actually putting that parvo motor hunter. You are going to be doing that, like I said, 3 or 4 times. If you didn't do it, then probabilities are even at 1 year of age. So you just need to make it a point that you vaccinate your animals. And there's the other thing, there's what we call tick fever. Tick fever is excessive ticks tse leng tla be di parame mo dintšeng tsa lona go bona di na le di palama ke dintsi mo ditsebeng mo. Tick fever is very very dangerous. It can tick fever e kgona go lasta 10 days e be tsamaya. Just the same thing as parvovirus. So make it a point that you clean your dogs. Make it a point that they are thoroughly cleaned, especially now it's in more raining seasons. So they are there, especially the collies, German shepherds that have long coat, Anatolians and everything. They have long coat. So sometimes you cannot see even those ticks. So make it a point that you buy necessary tools that can eliminate all those parasites. I think I am done when coming to that. Now, coming to the nutrition part of it, it's very, very important also to check the nutrition. When you go to the shop, 22% protein, 18% protein, 28% protein. I would advise for a go for the higher protein content, Yanja, especially if it's a working dog. Now, reason is if it's a working dog and you are giving it less quality protein, it's like you are starving that dog to work or strenuous. Now, if you are giving feed content, let's say you are giving 28% protein of whatever feed you find, a lump sum, just a minimum thing. Like a kakamola, here kama kala kaka manzi a chehang or yeah, each high kakama manzi. I would say braganjan, yeah, nariti braganjan kumafiki. When you give your dogs those, they had innocent. And then the other thing, don't give your dogs the spices. Haditware dinjataho mala and haditware malanja sentle. It can die out of that. So make it a point that please take care of that. And then some of the things there's a lot I need to cover, but some of the things I'll cover them more video while I'm at home, the kennels and everything, managing kennels and whatsoever. Now going back, because now you guys are farmers, going to the market, the Anatolians. I'm sorry, no, I don't have Anatolians. I don't have Anatolians. I have Anatolians, but I don't have Anatolians for you. My dogs get booked before they even give birth. So I get people from Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana as far as Maun, Francistown, driving to Mafeking to go and get those puppies. Now, what makes me more superior than other breeders, the Anatolians, is that training is very, very important. because people they are fighting with the batana and all those things. So they want dogs there where they can actually protect their livestock. Now, I don't have pets. Now my dogs are working dogs. They are weapons. I don't pet an animal. I don't pet my dogs. So you come here near my dogs. Even the guys, they know what logos again. It's difficult for them to get in there. Because again, now as I'm talking to you, Dina lidi pudi body them, but you cannot get near them. Those Anatolians. I don't want to lie that they are just around the farm, but I know what that's the showcase. Anatolian can stay 3 days without eating. You cannot do nothing. Highly day. Now, market the what's on it's I would say yes, it's rewarding. Like I say, I don't have animals that I don't have puppies that are there. Ke kolota batho ba ntse di puppies a di selo ba se ba pateletse go pele. So di ba kolota di puppies. So that's how now the market is for the Anatolians. And I don't just breed Anatolians. I breed Anatolians. Say long for you can be convinced to say this is an animal that you are going to be breeding with. And if I don't have puppies, we are welcome to talk to me. I can refer you to people by number. I know they are having good quality Anatolians and that are working. Like I said, you don't pet your working dogs. If you pet your working dogs, I hear people saying, most people breed the Anatolians. I have this dog, yaka, there's a certain way in which how you have to train that animal. You don't just expect it to go. It's just like that. So you need to train it. But the instincts are there. They can kick anyhow at any time. But you need to know the specifics. For instance, I cannot say when you bring me the Anatolians, the 5, I'm going to be training them the same. It does not work like that. I'm going to be working on the I'm just not going to classify them as to say, no, it's an Anatolian, it's a German Shepherd, so it needs this and this and this. It does not happen like that. Now, what I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be showing you a protection dog. That guy is 11 months of age. That's a black German Shepherd. What he's going to be doing is bite work. It has a little bit of obedience, of which your dog needs to be knowing obedience. You need to be able to recall your dog. You need to be able to command your dog to do whatever that you want to do. Your dog must be able to work under pressure. Now, I have about 2 weeks to train that dog. It's still a puppy, but it's coming well. I believe in the next 6 months, he'll be a very, very good dog. Now, before Kelebala, for those who wants border collies, I do have them in the car, but I'm only left with two puppies. Now, I'm going to be showing you what a protection dog looks like. Now, there are so many things that you are going to be using when you are training a dog. What I'm going to be using is a cushion. A cushion helps a dog. This is a young dog that is still trying to bite. I'm using a cushion for a simulator. Then from there, I'm going to be advancing to so many things like slavey and then sutu and all those things. So what I'm doing with this dog, I'm building a protection dog. You won't be able to mess around with. Or I can take that dog, and then if someone comes to break in, or maybe it can take that person. Now, you must take note that German Shepherds are also regarded the fourth heaviest biting dogs in the world. No, the fifth. Because the fourth Rottweilers. So these guys, they bite, they mean business. So, like I'm saying, correct training, Monjing, it means a lot. So what I'm going to be doing right now, they are demonstrate on the protection part of it, and then you need to be checking. But I'm going to be showing you some certain things. Disco, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be working with that guy. We are going to be doing long, it's a short leash biting and then long leash biting. Whereby it gets an animal, I'm going to try to attack that guy, but then it needs to focus more on. Okay, that's the owner. For now, he's not the owner. I am the owner, but I'm showing you what is happening. So he's the owner right now. He's protecting that guy who protect that. So you can see how focused is that guy. One out of focus, it's he's very, very alert. So he's waiting for anything that can come. So now that's what we are going to be doing.
What is it? Tiger what? Tiger King. Yeah. Where the tigers, where the things go wrong, the tigers actually end up attacking. Yeah. These people look at here, bro. They just don't know. Oh, snap. Yeah, at least I'll have it on camera. Bro. Tiger King is still terrible. Oh.